All right, man. Welcome to Freedom Expressed.
Welcome.
My name is Espoir Ndeba.
And my name is Mardochi Janvier. I go
And,
by Mado.
He goes by Mado. Today's conversation is going to be another one. I remember last time we talked on identity, and I received some pretty good feedback from a lot of people saying,
Awesome.
I'm really enjoying our conversation.
Mhm.
And I think that the best thing about what I guess we about this is we're not really trying to teach anything,
Yes.
but for sure there will come a moment where we're going to maybe invite like an actual, maybe a doctor,
Would be
maybe a
lovely.
professor, right?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Somebody to come and actually get to speak to us and teach us about certain things that maybe that they're from their respective professions. But yeah. So I'm looking forward to those days to come and what we have for you guys. So stay tuned for some more good things. For sure
On Freedom Express.
on Freedom Express. So what's the topic for today? You kind of brought up a really good
Yeah.
thing today. What has been in your mind that you feel like you wanted to discuss today?
I think the overarching idea of relationship.
Okay.
And the way that we navigate it,
Mm-hmm.
the way that we talk about it, the purpose in which we pursue it. I think I would love to dive into how you see relationship, and people have told you why it's important for them to get into it, why they're excited about it. Yeah.
I mean that's just the whole thing about relationship is it's a huge box to unpack, right?
For sure.
Because I feel like it has a lot of different things, and there's different type of relationships, right? So, but there is multiple different relationships, but I feel like they all kind of have. There's like one maybe common denominator that all of them kind of share, right?
Okay.
Which is I feel like is a connection with an individual, right? And that connection can be depending on the type of relationship you're trying to have with this certain individual. But also certain relationship can also mislead to certain things. So yeah.
Okay, when you say mislead, what was your brain thinking about just now?
Misleading.
Yeah.
In terms of maybe there's sometimes where maybe idolizing a certain person's relationship.
Yeah.
Or certain pastors or certain celebrities and so we idolize that relationship, and so we maybe trying to work hard to get that relationship. And this is a relationship that I'm talking about in terms of like a I don't know how to even properly say it. Like a relationship that goes with you having a partner, like searching for a lifelong partner.
Okay.
But there is different relationships, right? So there's that type of relationship, right? There is a relationship with your family, your father, your mother, with your sisters, with your siblings, with your friend, right? And so, but yeah, even in those as well, there's also misleading as well, because maybe there's some people who try to be friends with certain people because of how they view certain people's friendship is. Like, hey, we need to be like that,
Yeah.
In their mind, I'm like, they're just like, we need to be like them, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, what about you? What about when I say misleading, what came in your mind?
So my brain now is moving because you said something that is just captivating. You said they look at somebody else's relationship.
Yeah.
And when they do that, they decide that they want that.
Yes.
So in a sense, they're seeking to borrow somebody else's piece.
Yeah, facts, facts.
They're seeking to, in a sense, adopt somebody else's way of life.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe last time we covered the fact that until you are welcoming yourself in your own skin, and you remove the layers that you have put on yourself in order for you to meet yourself, you will never feel truly comfortable.
Talk about like what I guess like must somebody do for from before I enter any relationship, whether that's a friendship relationship, right? A partnership relationship with somebody. Like what can one do first before they enter into into a relationship? Because you entering into, it's like entering into a house, right?
Yeah.
Or entering, but like before you open that door, you don't know what's on the other side, right? So how can you get ready? I guess that's what I'm trying to ask. Is there anything you could do to get ready?
So that's a really good question. In my opinion,
Yeah.
I think people spend so much time judging themselves, but they judge from a place of ignorance.
Okay.
And that flips into arrogance.
Okay.
And so you don't know yourself. But when you feel something that you deem to be shameful, or people have told you that it's shameful,
okay,
you decide that instead of investigating that which I am, I rather reject it. And so as you continue to reject yourself, that creates a hole in you. And when you're going out there and you're looking for a mate or a partner, you end up making them satisfy the emptiness that you feel.
Wow. Yeah.
You know?
That's good.
And then the backdrop of that is they become your idol. And now whatever in whichever way they treat you, you suffer through because you're aware deep down, without them, I'm empty.
Okay. Wow.
You know?
Is there maybe certain, just hearing your talk, right? The thing of transitioning something kind of came in my mind, and I'm saying that in terms of certain people, they're going into a relationship, but they also bring their from their previous relationship. Like, is that maybe something that needs to a person needs to realize, or like, okay, I just got out of this relationship, and before I go into this relationship, like, how am I viewing this next relationship that I'm about to get into, right? This next friend that I'm about to make, this next girl I'm about to talk to, right? This next whatever. Like, is there anything I need to do first from my previous, right, before I enter into this new one?
Yeah. Okay. So one, we're all having a human experience, right?
Okay.
I think the problem is when you take a such narrow view of your life, where you allow shame to kick in, and say that you're not good enough, because you feel certain things, and you take it out of the context that you're just a human being. So for pulling that into this next relationship idea, you have a heart. And your heart was infested, but yeah, you could say it was infested with experience. It was infested with the experience of that relationship.
Oh, Lord.
And then that experience caused you to feel things.
Yeah.
And I think you can't be devoid of that connection. So you're going into another experience that allows your heart to be connected to somebody else. And you think that you're going to be able to fully clear that understanding from the past relationship. You have to understand, when we came into this world, we didn't come into this world with a foundation. We develop it as we develop.
For sure.
And so it takes experience, it takes conscious, intentional research to now produce in us new experience and understandings. I mean, without that, you just have theories, and theories sometimes lack conviction because they're not practical. You know? And so I wanted to ask you too, when it comes to those people that are feeling what they feel in relationship, do you think that they should not get into a relationship until they resolve all those internal heart issues of, like, let's say trauma or insecurity? Should they not get into a relationship, or should they learn as they go?
I think, I guess a little bit of both.
Sure.
A little bit of both, because like you said, we're having a human experience, or we're living a human experience. But I do believe in that if you are aware of something negative that had happened to you.
Yeah.
Right, or like a negative experience from your previous relationship.
Yeah.
With the whatever type of relationship it is, and you are aware of it, right? Before you enter into the next relationship, I feel like they need to be a conversation, a cleansing that needs to happen within yourself. Like first, in terms of seeing, the from this previous relationship, how if it was a toxic relationship, what part did you play in it? Right,
crucial.
Right. I mean, it's very tough for me to say. I mean, it's tough for people to to get to that point of like, okay, did I play a part into this, or because it's easier for me to just point fingers, right? And so, but when you start to see the part that you're playing in that relationship, right? Not really focusing on what the other person, how about they hurt you, actually focusing on fixing yourself.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And so, because the next time you're about to enter into the next relationship, I feel like that's one of the factors that can determine, if you also going back into the similar relationship, or if you actually like you've taken kind of your time to see like, okay, I'm compatible with this person, right? We have things in common with this person.
Yeah.
Is there any difference between this new one you're about to get into and the previous
and the last one?
And the last one, right? Or is it just like, how some people just say, oh, like that he has a type. That person, oh, like that's her type. It's
destruction.
Just like,
destruction is your
like,
type.
So, like, why not change your type? You know what I mean? It's like the whole thing of just like, oh, okay, they're always date certain people that look like this, that are all like this. Maybe that's a problem. Maybe that's a problem because you were trying to satisfy the body, and the mind and the spirit is, somewhere else, right?
But think about it, right? That type that you have is also built from environmental experience. These are the type of people that you've been around.
Yes.
And so, although the functional environment may be chaotic, it's still familiar.
Yeah.
And so, because it's familiar, you gravitate towards these type of people. Now, it comes to a decision where you don't just allow life to happen. You begin to decide how you want life to happen for you.
Okay.
And so, it takes. I think there's a popular saying out there that says, to get over a relationship, you have to get under a new relationship,
Yeah.
And so where is the debrief period?
Yeah.
In which, like you were saying, I can see what did I choose to participate in this relationship? Because if it was chaotic, my sister always says it takes two to dance. So while the chaos is happening, either you're taking a passive role or you're taking an active role.
That's good.
Either way, passivity is a decision. So when you say that I just went with the flow because it was a dangerous environment, that makes sense, logically speaking. But if we're talking about wisdom, part of you leaned into it.
Wow. Okay, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
So do you feel that the way how people's relationship are, how people live their relationship, do you feel like that translates into their other relationships?
1000%.
Speak more on that.
For the simple fact that you are the baseline of everything you experience.
That's good.
And so what your foundation always leaks into whatever relationship you have. So that people-pleasing tendency, you caught it somewhere.
Yeah.
You caught it, and then you bought the idea that this is natural behavior.
Yep.
And that's what I want to tell you about today. It's a story.
Yeah.
It's not a statement. It's just a story. A story that you bought. Either your environment, like I said, whether you were younger, teenage years, high school years, some way, somehow, a story was sold to you that you must conform. And so you take a passive role in life.
Yeah.
While you're taking this passive role
Yeah,
in
yeah.
life, you don't realize that you're choosing to do this.
Yep.
Because I believe, okay, question for you, because I'm excited. When it comes to the idea that people hate the experience they're having,
Yeah.
and yet they continue to have that experience,
Mm-hmm.
or that's the only experience they seem to meet in life.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think that is?
Well, repeat the question one more time. So if, like, why do people repeat the question one more time?
So we hear all the time,
Yeah.
right? People are like, man, this life sucks,
Yeah.
or all my relationships are bad,
Yeah.
you know? And then you have the popular statement that men are trash, all
Mhm.
women are trash,
Yeah.
right? So that just allows me to understand your encounters with that gender is negative.
For sure.
Why do you think they continue to have these experiences?
It's because, in my opinion, it's because of there's certain thing that, or there's certain hurt, right? Trauma.
Mhm.
There's certain experience that plays a pivotal role into, like, how you see and view things. But it's sometimes it's depending on how bad or how traumatic that the previous relationship was, or depending on how like specifically, let's say, like, these people who say, oh, like, all men are, you know, I'm talking about, like, all women are this, or African boys are this, or, you know, those type of things. So it's just like, it's because that maybe they've gone through multiple people from that genre, right? That environment. They've gone out with the whole thing we're talking about, their type.
Yes.
And now they're identifying every single breathing thing that looks and thinks like this individual. Oh yeah, no, I don't even need to hear this person now. He's just like him.
Sheesh.
Right? So you're in a way, you're letting the previous this human who hurt you, right? And then you identifying them to all these other men or these other women, that they're all the same. And so and it's really not, that's not fair to the other, you know?
No.
And again, I really think for me to recognize, like, okay, yes, if this person hurt me, right? If that friend hurt me, for me, before I even enter and meet a new friend, we keep saying this, there is a process that needs to happen of cleansing with yourself. And so, because, okay, even if the next person might be just like the other person, if I cleanse myself, I should have, and I'm saying cleanse because that's the word that's coming in my head, but I should be able to recognize, like, okay, through conversation that we're having with this individual, right? To this other friend that I'm about to make, or this other relationship I'm about to step into.
Yes.
I should be able to see certain signs that resembles either, okay, maybe, nope, this is not what I want.
Yes.
Or, okay, this is what I want. So there needs to be, you know how some people have a list.
Yes.
Right? Sometimes a list is needed and sometimes a list is not needed. But I feel like whenever you're reevaluating yourself, right? What just happened? How are we gonna move? It's like going in the meeting with yourself, right? Because you gotta understand that this relationship or this other individual you're about to get with, right? That you are involving another human's life. That's a whole other person and their experience and their past that you're about to infuse now with yours. Not infuse in terms of, but like you're about to, because it's words, right? If they say certain words and they comfort you, and so all this, like, we speak through wavelength.
Yeah.
And sometimes, you know, and that's how our brain signals, and that's how things get in our brain, right? And slowly you develop this habit, and you're just like, wait, I've never done anything. Yeah, but this person spoke it. And you've you
caught it.
You caught it.
Yeah.
You know, so you didn't. You might not have done it, but like this person spoke it, and understand, and then you took it.
Yeah.
You know, so you don't necessarily have to do anything.
Yeah.
But it also depends on who that person is and what they're saying.
Sheesh.
You know, and what they're speaking into, into that environment, into your room, into you,
Mhm.
and why how you accepting it. But if you, again, going back to diagnose, right? Not diagnose. If you're going back to reevaluate yourself, and you truly get to see, okay, maybe I need to reshift things. Maybe I need to not date for a little bit. Maybe I need to not get a new friend for a little bit. Let me just work on myself right now, right? Trying to work on a relationship with yourself. I think that's the very first relationship that's very important, is a relationship with yourself.
Because you just said that, relationship with yourself. Let me tell you something that's happening in my life right now.
Yeah.
I went through a experience with a human being, for lack of wanting to divulge.
Not an animal, human being.
Yes, just to be specific. Funny enough, the relationship went sour.
Okay.
And in my state of pain,
Yeah,
I heard myself now say, I don't want to be kind anymore.
Mm.
It's like, okay, so if this is the fruit of me being kind,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to do that anymore. You know?
Yeah.
Now, is kindness a good or bad quality?
It's a good question.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now, why am I allowing myself to rob myself of my kindness?
That's good.
Because I'm in a state of pain.
Yeah.
So when you're coming out of these environments,
Mhm.
this is what I realized.
Yeah.
The environments, yes, they were negative.
Yeah.
But be careful not to make agreements to rob you of your good character.
That's good. Yeah. Yeah.
In that pain.
Yeah.
Because that pain is a season of transition.
Mm-hmm.
But the way you manage and mitigate it
Mm-hmm.
will create a state
Yeah.
of lifestyle within you.
Yeah.
And so you are a bright, funny, jovial individual.
Yeah.
And yet, relationship after relationship, because you don't know yourself,
Yeah.
you have now been copying and pasting mates.
Wow. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Facts. Yeah.
And now, every time you leave a relationship that's disappointing you, you give up a good quality of yourself. I will never be this funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I will never be this happy. Or maybe you just continue to adopt insecurity on top of insecurity on top of insecurity.
Yeah.
Now let me tell you why that's important to realize. Why did you get into the relationship in the first place?
Okay.
That is a super important basis to sit with yourself and identify. Because if you're seeking for somebody to complete yourself, you've already put yourself in a lack position, believing that that person also is complete.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? And so with the idea, the premise that they're complete, you now allow yourself to take on whatever they bring.
Whatever they bring, yeah.
And so in reality, they're also incomplete. So their incompleteness is now making you even more incomplete.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to serve them.
Yeah.
And idolizing them as if they were perfect.
Yep. It's the whole concept of, it's like, it's saying, okay, I need that person for me to be complete.
Yeah.
I need that friend for me to be. It's like, no, like the what's the scripture in the Bible that says iron sharpens iron?
Yes.
Right? But it's like, just like how iron sharpens iron, right? But if somebody is bringing their baggage, right, that they've gone through, and they're expecting you as a person who also are carrying a whole bunch of your baggage, that they're gonna help you, that you're gonna help them carry their baggage. So you're gonna have a whole bunch of like baggage.
Airport.
Baggage claim. But like, they're gonna have to take it to you both need to first realize, why am I carrying this luggage?
Hey.
Where
did I pick it up?
Where did I pick it up? People always say, "Oh, dude, like you bring in all you and your bag, these baggages of yours." It's just like identifying, like, why am I carrying these baggages?
Yeah.
But also, if I'm the person seeing that person that they carrying the baggage, why don't I tell them if they're a friend of mine, right? Because I truly feel like there's some people who say that they're your friend, but they will see you go through something, they will see you struggling, they will see you, and they just say, oh, that's none of my business. Right? And so, but you're out here walking around with something heavy that you didn't even know that you're carrying.
Yeah. Yeah.
But everybody else is seeing it clearly, but nobody's voicing it.
Sheesh.
And so that also tells you the type of environment that you're in, right? The type of environment that you surround yourself. And it's not until that maybe some reflection comes along, right, that you see it and you're just like, whoa, what? Like, okay, I'm carrying this thing. That you were just like, wait, all of you guys knew I was carrying. Nobody said anything. That you start to actually removing yourself from this environment. Okay, maybe I need to start going into the other environment. Because I mean, a whole lot of things that a lot of youth or young adults kind of sometimes struggle with is with this day and age. It's like they work so hard to impress somebody.
Yeah.
And then that person ended up giving them the recognition that they wanted. And now they come to face it just like, oh, well, okay, I don't really, this is not a good relationship for me to be in. And now they don't know how to get out of it. You know? And so, and I feel like that's where, because they're just like, dude, like, if I get out of this, you know, like if I stop hanging around my friends and they drink and they do this and like, you know, like, come on, you know, they're going to call me this. And like, you know, they, like, I don't want to, you know, they're being afraid of being alone. So they're, because of them being afraid of being alone, they're willing to put up with doing things that's actually harmful to them, to satisfy not even them, to satisfy individuals that have made them, that they find comfort in. So talk a little bit about that. Why do because of certain relationship that we're in, that are toxic, that are bad, why do sometimes we find that comfortability within them? Because where does that comfortability come from?
This is such a good topic. Like, bro, oh my days. There's a whole idea I came across, and it goes like this.
Yeah.
The reason why we put people on a pedestal is because we don't see the options they have in their mind.
Okay.
We only see ours. And we judge ourselves based on our options. And we judge others based on their decisions.
That's good.
And so we will see somebody doing something and looking super confident and life of the party. And we'll say, wow, I want to be just like that person. I want to find a way to get them to validate me.
Yeah.
Because I'm not good enough. Because I see my options.
Yeah.
I see the fact that I'm insecure and I'm here, but I don't feel like I'm here.
Yeah.
How do you know it's not the same for them? And so you being afraid to be lonely, worshiping somebody that's also afraid to be lonely, but is just manifesting in a different way.
Yeah.
So I think you guys, you can't run away from yourself.
You can't. You it's literally impossible.
You are wherever you go. You are giving the idea that, or you put forth the idea that human beings, the human being you're seeking to date or be in a relationship with, is an environment.
Yes.
Talk more about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like how we choose to allow anything to happen to us. It's, if we take a close look into how we specifically, the people that we're inviting into our life, who we're inviting into our life, because that person is not just a body we're seeing. He's a collective of a system. That person is its own environment.
Wow.
You know, because within that person there's a seed, right? There is soil, there is seasons, it's a whole different environment within this human being. And so when we choose to interact with certain people, right, we also need to be sure that we're equipped with, you know, certain material, certain clothing, certain things to fit this, you know, this environment. Making sure that you yourself, the clothes that you're getting from this environment, right, the food that you're getting from this environment, it's food that you need for you. Right? We all just can't eat any food. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like There's a certain reason why, like, somebody, I can eat all the cheeseburger in the world, and I could still be this. You know what I'm talking about? I can't gain any weight.
Yeah.
You know, to the point where somebody else does it, just takes a little pinch of a ketchup. Poof. You know what I'm talking about? So, we are all have different bodies. We all have different systems, and sometimes they're not compatible with this other individual. And so we need to make sure that any environment that we're in, this person that we're getting involved with, that any clothes that I'm getting from this person, they fit me. They're not just any clothes that they're giving me that I need to put on. You need to also see if these things fit you, because if they don't, that's whenever you decide to get out and go to a different environment and or go, but you first need to identify what fits you, what you actually need, then that's actually going to be good for you.
Also, just hearing you talk, this idea was put into my mind. Sometimes when you're dealing with somebody, outwardly, they seem like a very friendly person.
Sure.
The representative that they give to you is a most wonderful experience.
Yeah.
And yet, on the inside of you, you're unsettled. You don't feel safe.
Yeah.
You don't feel comfortable.
Yeah.
You don't feel like this is going to be a relationship that works out. Ultimately, I don't believe you should run from that, but I think you should investigate it.
Yeah.
Because this whole idea of environments that people bring, I never thought about it like this. But now, if I'm reflecting on my own experience, I'm thinking people can fake the initial representative that they give forward, but they cannot fake the environment.
No.
So your body will always give you red flags. And when you're talking to somebody, and I believe flags are meant to be investigated, not for you to run from it.
Yeah.
It's an idea that you're mature and capable enough to now ask that person or see if this is going to bear a negative fruit in the future. Make sure that you take the time. Not you just, I feel like people walk around with scissor hands and they're always ready to cut. Just cut. Like as soon as they're offended, they cut.
Yeah.
I think it's important to investigate red flags, but also don't diminish the feeling or the emotion when you feel like you're unsettled. Because that can be because of the environment that you feel that they're getting ready to bring you into.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Man, but even to go a little bit more, right?
Yeah.
With why do certain people have with to going from this relationship to that relationship, from how do you think each relationship kind of like correlates with the other one? Like a friendship from your father, a relationship from your friend, a relationship from your partner, right? What's the common denominator within those like relationships for humans here that we have?
I think it's a familiar spirit.
Okay.
Where it's like, I feel comfortable here. Okay. It could be chaotic, but I grew up in a chaotic environment.
Okay.
So although I feel like I don't like it, I know how to manage it.
Okay.
And so when peace comes, I reject it.
Okay.
Because it's like, it's unfamiliar to me.
Yeah.
And that's why it's important to know yourself. Because if you came from a family that only produced chaos, how long are you willing to sustain that?
Yeah.
Because you now have the opportunity to protect that story or to rewrite that story.
Yeah.
You're in charge now.
Wow.
Where you were in a passive environment, you didn't choose where you were born.
Yeah.
Once you come of age, you're now active. Now, whatever you put yourself into, you decide.
Why talk about that? The importance of a relationship. Why do we long for it in the first place? Why do we search for a relationship in the first place?
So my theory is
your theory.
No, because hey man,
yeah, that's all right.
Relationship is what brought you into the world.
Okay.
So that's always been the foundation of everything.
Speak more on that.
It took two people coming together in physical intimacy. So even that is a form of relationship.
For sure.
Whether the duration of it was short, long, whether they just met each other, whether it was a one night stand, all that was just basis of relationship. And so we have a drive within us to feel at home with people.
Yeah.
You can do your best to not interact with people, but you're robbing yourself of something that is innate within you. So I think, especially in the US, we have such an isolationist mindset.
Yeah.
Where we're just super in our own shell. And yet we want to have relationship. And I always say that if an experience you're having is destructive, don't protect it. Seek to get tools to rewrite it or dismantle it. You have to. Because again, you are now becoming the author of your story. You're designing it. Espoir says you are what you do more of.
Yeah.
So whereas before, again, you didn't have a choice in the environment you were part of.
Yeah.
The environment now you choose, you design.
Yeah.
And you must make sure that you develop a voice. My brother talked about the waiting period. In that waiting period, do you talk to yourself? Are you your own best mate?
Yeah.
Are you your own best friend?
Yeah.
Because if you're not, then you're giving to people that which even you don't know. How dangerous is that?
False prophets.
You know?
Yeah.
False prophets. You're preaching love.
Yeah.
And yet you never loved yourself.
Never loved yourself. So
false prophet. You're saying, I will do anything for you. I'll keep you safe. And yet you don't give that to yourself.
For sure.
So of which characteristics do you speak of now?
Yeah.
If you don't even recognize it within yourself.
Yeah. What credentials do you have that can validate what you're speaking?
You understand?
Yeah.
It's important to start with you. Because when your person is off, all you have is you.
100%. You always been you. I always tell people that, which is why like it's very important to first know yourself.
Yes.
And it's a question obviously that the world asks and struggles. Who am I? What's my purpose? And the whole nine, But I think because of we made it into a question that's an unknown question, that we left that unknown. Unknown. You know what I'm talking about? But you're the evidence that you exist.
Say it again.
You know what I mean? You're the evidence that you exist. And so because you exist, there have to be a reason why you exist.
Yes.
So just living that question in the past, I'm just like, man, I will never know who I am. I'm never gonna know my purpose. No, you're the evidence that you exist. You're the evidence that you're going to accomplish, that you were put here on this earth to accomplish something. And we have access to knowledge that can help you enhance your understanding. You're not just going to magically know why you're here. But because of trial, right? Because of failure, because of that friction you were talking about, that's a passage that leads you to, seeing that. So I'm saying all to say, like, once you know yourself, why you here. I always tell, anybody that I speak to, that we all believe in something, whether we like it or not. Even an atheist believes in something, right? So whoever you think to you, whatever is your foundation of how you are here, whether it's the Big Bang Theory, whether it's God, whether it's Buddha, whether it's Muhammad, whatever it may be, whatever your base is, you have that belief, right? You came from something. That's what I'm trying to say. But I'm a Christian, so I believe God created me.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about? So because that means now my whole structure, my life is going to look according to how God says it is. And so the type of relationship that I'm going to now find needs to fit this barrier. Because not everything that was put here on earth was for us. And so there's certain individuals that the devil is, right? That I feel like he also puts,
Of course.
you know?
Yes.
But we first need to, once I get to know myself, once I get to know what my purpose is, then I tend to start searching for, okay, can this person help me get to my purpose?
But
can I also help this individual?
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
Because again, I'm thinking about when you're saying this, I'm thinking about the waiting season.
Yeah.
Because that is a process in which you understand who you are.
Talking about the waiting season.
Let me tell you what not to do in the waiting season. You know?
Yeah.
Because like you said, the waiting season is where you develop an understanding of yourself. Yeah. You study your habits. Yeah. You study your traditions. Yeah. You study what you were taught in the environments in which you left or you're trying to leave. Yeah. You're taking accountability for your part in there. The problem with that is it can be a very confrontational, vulnerable environment that you have with you.
For sure.
So let me tell you what not to do. You don't become a thief. You don't seek to now take somebody else's peace as your own. Because that's what we do when we get into these premature relationships. Yeah. We see somebody have something that we want to feel. Yeah. And we use them as a vehicle to obtain that. Yeah. And so we never really give value to the humanity of the person, only the quality in which we want to get from them. Of course. So we become a thief. Yes. And now you ask, why do people stay in those toxic environments longer than they should? Because you're not done stealing yet. Where you play yourself to be a victim, and it's not everybody, trust me. But if you resonate with what I'm saying, it's not to bring you down, it's to enlighten you for sure of what you need to do in your time with yourself to study. Yeah. For you cannot break that which you don't know. Yeah. Yeah. But what you don't know can kill you. Yeah. Yeah. And so when you're asking yourself, what was I trying to steal in that relationship with that person? Yeah. They're all bad, but maybe they did something that validated a piece in me that I needed to be filled. Yep. But I didn't think I can feel it myself. And so I saw it in them and I said, okay, whatever it takes, I will be in this environment to get it. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. Dude, that the waiting part, there's a reason why every single time somebody's trying to lose weight, right? They work out, and after that, they're trying to gain weight. They work out. After they work out, they go on a scale to weight themselves. There's a reason why that waiting to go weight yourself, it's highly important because it leads you to the next. So then if I'm going to switch my workout, right? If I'm going to switch, if what I'm doing is working. So the waiting period, right? And weighting yourself on a scale for in terms of working out. But like you can always know that, okay, I'm not seeing any progress yet. Right? Okay, I need to do more work. So there is a beauty that needs to happen. But there's a beauty that exists within the waiting period. That is the time where you should spend the most with yourself. Yes. That is the time where your loudest prayer, your best meditation, that is where your focus, right, really is at sharp. And whatever that's fitting, right. But also to me, I believe it's a time for you to do laundry. It's a time to do laundry within yourself. It's a time to rearrange, to deep clean yourself, to see this next thing that I'm about to get into, this next relationship of whatever I'm about to get into, how am I going to be in this thing clean? Right? So it's re-cleaning yourself, physical, mentally, spiritually, right? Because if you're just waiting in your dirty house or whatever, in the house that you've always lived in and you haven't cleaned it, right? You eventually going to take some of that clutter with you somewhere else.
Yes.
So I highly, and that house is that environment, that other person that we're talking about. So before you get to meet that that next environment, that other person, that other relationship, know that you're going into this as 100% yourself, because things are going to be so much clearer. You're going to hear things clearer. You're going to see things clearer. You're going to see signs clearer. You're going to identify. You're going to make even a better choices.
Wow.
Because you've now have taken all this clutter out. But when we rush into things, you, then now, I remember before we were talking about, what would it look like for a person? Why do people rush into some relationships?
Yeah.
Right. And one of the reason was that people sometimes rush into a relationship because of they just want to have fun. The purpose of them entering into this relationship is, listen, man, like, I'm just bored right now. I just want to, whatever it may be, So you having fun, but the other person is serious, So you're wasting the other person's time, but they don't know that you're wasting their time.
No.
And that's the most
heartbreaking,
insane.
Yeah.
Because it affects that person like tremendously, because how you present yourself to that person, right? It's how they see you. It's how they identify you for the first time. It's how, so if however you're introducing yourself, however they introduce themselves to you, that should matter, because you should then realize, how am I representing myself to this person? Am I going as myself, or am I going as a complete stranger?
Yeah. Because if you're not going as yourself, you're a thief.
100%.
Because
but
it's a heist.
Who are you even robbing?
Okay, so in terms of men, right now we're in an age that's very liberal in the sense that you can sleep around and do whatever you want. But to do that, you sell dreams. So same way like a thief wants to go rob a building, they'll spend time to study the building. They'll find the weak points, and then they'll get in there, and maybe they'll go up to the door and say, hey, I'm a real estate agent. I want to look around your property. It's a beautiful property. I want to see if I can sell it. Owner says, yeah, sure, come on in. Meanwhile, you're not that. You're a thief.
You're 100%.
But let me talk to the people that have been stolen from. Like I said before, and I feel like it's important for me to say it again. The pain you feel is not a license to kill the good parts of yourself.
Oof, that's good.
Where you feel like, I was naive. I feel like, I was too happy. I need to be more serious. I need to be more cautious. It's not that it's not true, but it's incomplete if that's all you think.
Yeah.
Because then the devil will use that to kill the good that God has put into you. The tools that God will use in you to help somebody else. You allowed a season of pain to rob it.
Yeah.
So not only did that person steal the joy that you had, the devil made sure it will never come back, because you made an agreement in your mind that I will never be this joyful again.
Man, but why do you think, right, with your experience, why don't people like being alone?
I think they don't like to be alone because...
Oh, sorry. What? Sorry.
Sure.
Why don't they like being alone? But also, like, what are some importance of being alone?
Okay, so first off, I think the terminology should be changed. You're not by yourself. You're with yourself.
That's good.
And so when you're alone with yourself, you now speak to yourself. Challenge the ideas in which you lean to the easiest.
Mhm.
Because that by itself is a patterning.
Yeah. Yeah.
People don't like to be by themselves because they don't have the tools. They don't believe they have a voice in their own heads.
Mhm.
So all they hear is what people have told them.
Yeah.
I'm here to tell you, and both of us want to drill this and present this document before you.
Yeah.
Because we're convinced and fully persuaded
For sure.
that you do.
Mhm.
You're not what you are. Instead, you design who you are every day you wake up.
Mhm.
And so your identity is not stable until you die.
Mm. Mm.
So every day that you wake up, you have the opportunity to be with yourself in a new way.
Mhm.
So the self-talk that you have that makes you afraid to be alone,
Mhm.
challenge it.
Yeah.
Ask yourself, first of all, something that was crucial for me
Yeah.
was, whose voice am I using to talk to myself?
That's good. Yeah.
Because I adopted a negative voice that I grew up with, but I also valued.
Mm.
And so that voice is how I would now reprimand myself, speak to myself when I messed up. So it was never really my voice.
Yeah.
I just kept talking like that person.
Yeah.
Even though that
Yeah.
person wasn't there,
Yeah.
it's like I made them an idol in my head.
100%.
Now, the crazy thing about it is, it took a while when I had a presentation to do for public speaking, and it didn't go the way that I wanted to go. And I started to dig into myself. I said, hold on, who's talking right now?
Like, just stop.
Yeah, I was like, this sounds a little too familiar. And then I realized that, wow,
Yeah.
I never really talked to myself.
Yeah. 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 You never met you.
I've never met me.
Mhm.
So take a moment in the season of being with yourself to meet you.
Mhm.
Find out
somebody
who's
else.
been talking to you before you meet somebody else. Because I kid you not, the way in which that voice talks to you,
Yeah.
you will now talk to them.
100%.
Whoever you bring into that environment, because who's leading you on the internal always manifests in the external.
Man, every single time that we do a deep cleansing, a deep clean
Yes.
on ourselves,
Okay.
we tend to go back into the environment and we put the exact same habits and fear right back into this new place. So it's like, yes, we like, we're doing things that we're supposed to be in terms of like, okay, I'm going to to pray and to get all these things out of my head, and I'm a new person right now. And then because you're a new person, you're a blank canvas, and because you're a blank canvas, if you're not aware of your previous, you're now choosing with this new environment, because you haven't met how this person is yet. You're now choosing another form of fear that looks now in a different way there, right? Another voice from the past, so but it's now there. So it's just like, but all that is because you've never really given yourself the power to actually decide, the power that you were given. You are, it's so funny too, because you're the one that says this thing. You're the one that speak into this thing, into life. So every other voices, every other, they speak to you, they whisper to you,
but you would come into agreement,
and you speaking it out.
Oh
my God!
Oh boy, you shake the hands.
You shook their hand, and
you signed the contract,
right? And so, if you don't know your worth,
yeah,
somebody else is going to come, right, and convince you that you're not worthy. Somebody else will come, right, and take away your worth, right? It's just, man, it's like it's the same thing with even in business.
Yeah,
like if you invent something, right, and I know how much that thing is worth. If you invent like a new technology and I can see how many people that can influence that can make us billions of dollars. I know the worth of it. You don't.
Mhm.
Maybe your dream hasn't surpassed that because you haven't exceeded a certain amount of income. Let me say that.
Mm.
So me, who knows that I'm going to exploit that. I'm going to be like, okay, I'm going to offer you $100 million for your, or 50% in this stake of your company, because to you that's a lot of money. You're going to jump at it. Right?
Wow.
When in perspective, I'm going to make that next week plus more, and then buy you out of the company. So people are buying you out of your own body. People are buying you out of your own mind. So it's not really you operating it.
Sheesh.
There is fears, there is anxiety, there's past voices, there's past relationships from fathers, from your boyfriends, girlfriends, from your wives, from your whatever. They're still lingering because they bought a plot of land in your mind, and you are the one holding the deed. And the funny thing, all of them are in your name. It's not in their names.
But I want to say this. It's not that they bought. You sold it.
You sold, exactly.
But when you sold it, don't get me wrong, most of the time that was a passive agreement.
Yeah.
Because you are brought into this world with that family.
Mm-hmm.
Everything past that, you sold it.
Yeah, 100%.
That's active.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're copying and pasting that environment to the next environment, to the next environment.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why, in my opinion, emotions are information.
Yeah.
When you are depressed, it's telling you something.
Mm-hmm.
When you have anxiety, it's telling you something.
Yeah.
When you feel like you don't like it here, why?
Yeah.
It's not meant to be suppressed, but it's meant to be investigated.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to be with yourself to do that. And I think it's important not to always seek to take from these relationships, but be somebody that can also pour into.
Yeah.
And you don't pour from a place of, what's the word? Inauthenticity. Where people have to be fake happy, or they have to be, oh, I think you're just great.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's like when you're able to sit with yourself, what you say now will always be grounded.
For sure.
And so, to what you were saying, having that ability to be part of these groups that will change your life is not only for you to be a taker, but also for you to be a giver.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. That's good, man. Man, this has been a great conversation.
1000%.
A great conversation. Here at Freedom Express, we're always, thrive to speak on personal journeys, but also personal identifying who you are. Right.
Yes.
The whole point of Freedom Express is having the ability for you to truly express yourself in the most comfortable way possible.
Yeah.
Right. The way you were intended to by God. Right. And so what that looks like, if you don't know what that looks like, there's going to be people here that we're going to be inviting every single time. And, so that way they can give us a clarity on who we're going to, how they can help us within their profession.
Yeah.
How, with what they know, with how they do their life, and see if we can learn from that.
1000%.
Yeah. Thank you again. My name is Aspar.
My name is Madoshe Janvier.
And we just want to say thank you for tuning in, and continue to support us. And so hit the like button and subscribe. And if you have any questions, any suggestions that you've ever want us to maybe address, right?
Yeah.
Always write down in the comments. Always write down any questions that you have, and maybe we can get to in the next video, right? Maybe there's certain things that you want us to talk about. Please, you can write it down in topic, and we can invite a guest of that stature, right? And so they can come and and help you to answer that question.
Yeah, feel free, because like we said, we're not here to teach.
No,
we're just here to speak and have a conversation about things that we believe are crucial in this life that we're all living for the first time. So this has been Freedom Express. Welcome.
Appreciate it. You have a good day.
Hope you enjoyed the ride.